Okay. Hello, everyone. I would think we'll wait for a couple minutes, no, maybe not minutes, seconds, for all participants, because usually we have a bit of lag during our webinar. So, yeah. So, just before we get started, yeah. So maybe I will do as some kind of testing with you guys. And first question, I will address a first question to you. Are you hearing us and seeing us correctly? Just use the. Oh, yeah, we have a first response. So it seems like that everything's working and lag is not very significant today. So please always use the chat section to address any questions you want during this session today with us. So if you may write in the chat again, where are you from, guys, or from which organization, which country, or which I don't know, time zone you are, whatever you want. We want to just test that everything is working. Yes. I like such answers. Okay, amazing. So cool. We have tested a bit. So first, remember to click and subscribe our Executive Automats YouTube channel. And I'm Rafał Nyszewski, and I will be your moderator for today's webinar. Test automation for Dynamics 365, how to gather all in Azure DevOps and keep it up with one version. Very cool topic. We will have this privilege today to show you all the possibility use cases of our tool Executive Automats during this show. So feel free to address any questions you want during the show. We will be able to come back to them during the question and answers session. Okay, so again, I'm glad that you have joined us. The chat is on and we have tested, so use it whatever you want for the questions. Also, we are recording the session, so we will send a link to the recording to email address which you have registered with. And today with me, Bartosz Piech, our product owner and manager of our brand Executive Automats. Thank you, Bart, for joining me today for this session.
Happy to be here.
And moving forward to today's webinar agenda, firstly, we'll show you why the testing is so important nowadays. And this few live demos which we have planned. Firstly, a quick recording of the test case in finance operations. Secondly, same quick recording case, but in the customer engagement of D365, and end-to-end testing scenario. Next, the overview considering the summary reports in Azure DevOps for all the stakeholders. Next, the how to describe the testing concept for backlog to track. So last but not least, question and answer session, as I have mentioned before. And now to the star of the show, Bart. Stage is yours. And yeah, thank you guys again for joining us.
Thank you so much, Raf, for the introduction. Welcome everybody. Happy to be here. Happy to have so much audience today. Thank you so much also for joining in Dynamics Minds, a wonderful event we've hosted in a session in Slovenia lately, and we look forward for Dynamics community for Summit NA in October. So also feel free to join us there. And if you are planning to visit and you are wondering how to get in, or you would like to get some discounts, high chance that we can provide you something. As again, the fifth year within the pandemic, we are sponsoring the event, and we are very happy to share with the community the knowledge. So we're going to start today with a very, this is going to be a one-on-one session, 101, meaning that we're going to do the basic stuff. This webinar, if you would like to do more, if you would like to learn in detail learn in detail the testing methodology and so on, we are here to help, and we're going to host another webinars dedicated for that. Today, we're going to do the basic just to give you an understanding of the tool, how it evolves, what kind of new capabilities there are, just to grasp the whole image. And starting, why the testing is important. As you know, kind of a very well-known practice, which is so-called one version. One version sort of forces you to test the application very heavily. You have to apply 3 updates within a year. We've seen very nice jumps on the customer side, even right now from update 55th to 59, which is kind of a crazy, but this is something which is possible. In the meantime, when you have your one version, there is something going on about the product quality updates. This makes the whole concept even more crazy. The bullet train goes on, and you have to survive in the high pace. You have to ask the business to test if you don't do the test automation. If you're wondering how our customers are testing and what is the number, I can give you some estimates, and we have customers from execution of about 5,000 up to 10,000 test cases in a monthly cycle. We have also customers which are exceeding that quite a bit, going up to 300,000 test cases in a year cycle, which gives us close to 30,000 test cases in a month. These numbers are significant, and you are going to the moment where you, it is impossible to occupy so much business to do so much testing. The methodology we're going to end up the session with, this is something that we're going to also create as a hardcover, and we're going to gather much more details for you to bring you the assurance that you are able to test the system with a perfect manner. This is something we can also expect from us quite soon to be released. So when we know why to test, when we know who to ask for help, because business users, they have the knowledge, let's do a quick explanation how we work with the business users and how easy it is to record a test case in Executive Automats. Next slide, please. So you can make it as easy as possible. So one of the major goals we had from finance and operations version of, from Executive Automats to work with finance and operations was to make this knowledge transfer between the business user and the IT as simple as possible. And I think we reached the best place where a person, the business user, without significant training, practically within 15 minutes of explanation what exactly to do, where to click, they are able to record a test case. And they are able to even set up some verification of the results. They are able to place some comments. So the test case can be very robust. It can be very descriptive, and you can have multiple other benefits out of that specific test case recording. If the business user has a bit more time, they can do verification of the results, so they can catch some elements what they want to verify and extend this specific test case with an Excel file. Excel file is one thing which we can use, but also we can use some standardized data management. But this is a baseline of easiness. Then, if you have an appetite to do more, you can use API calls. You can write HTTPS requests. You can connect with Jenkins and execute Selenium code. You can work with third-party sites. This is going to be a little bit tricky, but it's possible. You can do XML verification of the results. You can do OData. You can do CPOS and warehouse application and much more. But the advanced stuff sits down a bit lower level. So it is up to you. If you would like to do just easy startup, record and play, that's for you. If you have some more technical resources, you can do everything what is waiting for you from the advanced stuff and have very actually extraordinary extensive testing for your environment. And now let me jump into the Executive Automats to actually show you how quickly we record a test case. And I'm going to build with you within 2 minutes a business process test case, which will, let's say, create purchase order, an example. So the business user, we are inviting them here. We ask them to click Create Add Script. Then they can have their own project. This is just a catalog, we can say, or they can have simply saying some aggregation level, which going to use for testing, and they're going to say, all right, so I'm going to record a purchase order. And the business user is not actually thinking about the environment, where to record any virtual user account. This is set by a person which is administrating the executive automats. Then the business user goes here, and they can follow the business process as usual, as they do daily, without any specific knowledge. Left-hand side, they're going to see all steps which they record, and right-hand side, on the workspace area, they can simply see the dynamics. So now let's record, and let's walk through the accounts payable, all purchase orders. System gives you the flexibility, because the flexibility and the repetitive execution without need for change for the test case is something we focus the most. So this business user, when they are investing their time to tell us what the process looks like, we want to catch as much as possible context of these buttons and so on. So these test cases are highly repetitive. We are able to repeat the same process for a number of versions of Dynamics without any change. And only then, when you are able to repeat over 100 times the test case without your adjustment, then you are building a significant ROI on the test automation. And we believe that with that approach that we are continuously improving, you are able to live with an insurance on the one version cycle and product quality update. So moving along the process, I'm just defining few things, few stuff for purchase order, doing nothing specific. System identifies all actions. If I'm going to do some mistakes, I'd like to correct some actions, I can easily retype that by editing the value that I provided. I can place some comments. Everything is super simple. For the business user, they can just go here, end up the transaction, and say PO is confirmed. All is here. And we can say we're going to just wait for confirmation to be done. We can actually, as a cherry on the top, we're going to verify the results of the process, because the purchasing or any transaction, they have to have specific results after our operations. So we have approval status confirmed, so I'm going to check that afterwards. So I'm going to call this status check. And system does everything for you. This means that on that step, system will verify if the status in that moment is confirmed. If yes, then continue. Else, just make a warning. Status is wrong. And that way you can catch actually any value which is visible on the screen and make significantly long verifications afterwards. If I'm ready, I can simply click player, and system will play back one by one, step by step, in the way that we recorded. If you're going to make some mistakes, you can easily correct that just by deactivating steps, making them optional, and so on, so on. All about reusability. The statistics, so the time of the execution, the info messages, warning messages, they're going to be always listed in the history. You have possibility to go for that. So this is how easy it is to record and play back the process, and system will go along. In the meantime, let me come back to the slides to focus a bit on the customer engagement. Because customer engagement is another application that we are hosting and sort of handling with our executive automats, and the same concepts here works. So you are able to ask the business, record with them the test case, build some negative tests, extend that with Excel files, and then if you would like, you can use some CE API to create data, to create inputs, and we've done significantly a big project lately, floating the customer engagement with massive amount of data by available APIs. So this and much more can be done the same way on customer engagement. And let's actually record on CE process. So let's jump back to the executive automats. And as you see here, in the meantime, we've been just focusing on our presentation system, ended up the test case giving us idea that everything worked well. So as expected. Now I can close down this specific process. I can go to the scripts again, and I can tell the system, all right, so now let's create a lead on CE side. So I can click, this is going to be a CE process, and I can ask, I can write the name, let it be lead creation. Let it also be with CE 1012 and as the process code, and simply saying create, start, and record. The same concept. User is not focusing a lot. They are just redirected where to go. System changes the application to customer engagement, and it's exactly the same way we're gonna just focus on how usually we do lead creation, how we confirm the status, and we'll be able to play back the same process. So again, record. Let's jump into leads, and system will be able to fill out the forms. Yeah, we've been lately floating our database with Harry Potter leads. Let's do here something new. Lego. Rafa was just mentioning Lego before. Let's do this name. As you see, system is just recognizing all the actions. If there is anything else needed with the star, we are actually good to go. We can save. All right. Now we can qualify the lead to make it more extensive. Then we're gonna work on some notes. The process can be very extensive. You are able to build a process which starts in customer engagement and then it goes to finance and operations. You can do a lot of integrations on that level and exchange variables. So if the specific ID comes from CE, it can be transferred to the script where F&O works. I'm going to show you that in a moment. But right now, I'm going to close as one this lead, finalizing the deal on 1 million, and just funny description to finalize that. Everything is one. All right, we are good to go. We can, again, stop it and play back the same process. In the same way we work with field services in the PSA, as they are practically the same for us now. We have a more technical approach for other applications, but we have significantly nice wins on SAP Hybris, on some other e-commerce sites where our customers are taking that to another level. And this is very cheerful. This is a nice moment where we can shout out to our customers. Thank you so much for doing so much with this tool, because we never knew that it's going to be that we can define and offer so much values, and our customers are building RPA. Our customers are building a lot of value aside of the testing, not only focusing on the regression. They are just helping themselves day by day on the production application, creating some automation robots that are building some transactions on the system. This was not our intention, but we see that more and more values are just coming. Yeah, to save your time, not to focus so much on the side topics, we love to talk about the system. We're going to come back to the slides to focus a bit more on the end-to-ends. And what about the end-to-ends? Because we recorded a test case for F&O, and we recorded a test case for customer engagement. You can think about these test cases more as puzzles. They are building a big picture, or pixels to build a big picture of your test cases, to create one process on CE and then move it into F&O with some variables, or create an end-to-end flow in finance and operations where you create customer and then you build up SO and then you start production manufacturing, and then you do inventory movements and then you actually invoice the product, then you ship, then you reconcile. These massive end-to-ends are possible, and we've seen very nice long processes which were taking an hours to execute, but in the real world it took months to do that. So there are no limits on the steps, there are no limits on this end-to-ends, and we highly encourage you to build these kind of golden processes, the longest possible processes in the organization. So if you, again, think about this very simply, you can build test cases, merge them, you can copy steps very simply. If you would like to take it another level, you can write HTTP requests to start Jenkins, to do a Selenium on the site. You can work with the store commerce. And as soon as we're going to jump into Executive Automate's bag, you're gonna notice that I've prepared for you today a quick end-to-end. Raf, if you can jump back to the EA. Thank you. So how you can link that? We have customer creation. So this script was not recorded by me. I was just adding here sealed test cases. So I have one element here, AR customer creation, lead creation and confirm, the thing we've done in C. Then we've got sales creation. And then we have something called HTTPS request, which can be very nice to use because you can integrate with logic apps. You can integrate by this with Jenkins in this occasion. So you can run Executive Automate test case, make a wait, and then run Selenium. Or you can run Selenium, then make a wait, and then execute finance and operation test cases because you're going to expect that something will come from the APIs. So this connection and these integrations, including the ADO pipelines, they are just opening doors for you for massive amount of automation to, again, limit number of hours spent by the business users for testing. And that's all about Executive Automates. So these end-to-ends, they can communicate. If you're going to click here on the SO, this is the place where you can override variables. So you can just make a link between step number 2 and step number 4 to change variables between those two. I was mentioning before an Excel file, which can help you with a bit more advanced usage of the software. If I'm going to go to general page, I can drop here my Excel file. Take a look. I'm going to open that for you just so you can see what is in the Excel file. I just pasted here fixed asset name, model, and entity. If the process works the same for all entities, it's more than tempting to record it and loop it throughout your all entities. So I can just drop this Excel file, fixed asset name, model, serial number, and entity. And now, if we're going to do that, we are able to go to the steps and tell the system, all right, so let's not use USMF as fixed value. Let's simply click edit and use the data source, spreadsheet one, and let's take the entity. Save. Let's go to the what we've got in here. Information one. This can be our model, and so on and so on. If I'm going to go that way, now I can play back the process, and if I'm going to make a loop at the end, the system can go through all lines in the Excel file, delivering me multiple results for one process against all our entities. And about the results, if you're going to go to the history, if you're going to jump in here, you will see that at a glance, you will see how much time we needed for the execution. You can see successes. As I was mentioning, you are able to gather results, compare the results. There is a massive amount of functionalities waiting for you. That's why we've created a certification program. Within 2 days, you can learn practically everything what you need to learn about the software, the Executive Automates, and then you can use it in full scope. You can become the super user, and then you can work very efficiently with the business users. So after a week time, you'll be super flexible and super proactive on your test automation in your organization. Let's jump back to the presentation once again.
Yeah, guys. So before we move forward, I want to mention about the possibility to perform such a proof of concept, considering our tool in your organization, and within that, you will be able to check to have a little hands-on on the things which Bart mentioned before. So use the following link, which will be within seconds on the chat section, and book yourself a demo session, which we can transform into the POC, showing all the things which you want to automate and integrate between both systems, like customer engagement, finance operations, so end-to-end testing scenarios also. So yeah, use the link in the chat section, guys. Yeah, the summary reports right now. So
thank you so much, Ralph. I think also good to mention is that the software that you are seeing today, this is something which is easy to install because it takes about 15 up to half an hour to install on SaaS cloud solution for us. So if you would like to start on with your trial or with your actually ready product, it's about half an hour to deliver the software and then start. Connect to Dynamics by our methodology, which doesn't need or force you to install anything. So that's super simple for implementation process, for the audit processes and other processes which are making some hard times for actually using the software in the company, because it has to go through all the checks that are required in order to purchase it. In here, we have the expertise and experience to simplify the process, just to help you focus on the test automation.
yeah, thank you, Bart, for mentioning that. Yeah, no strings attached. So yeah, we can move forward, Bart.
Yeah, you go ahead, please.
Okay, cool. Just yeah. So yeah.
Exactly. So results, as you know, and there is very often kind of the test automation for ERP system is something which is not well described yet. And we are experiencing this a lot because we were browsing for last 10 years where we are in the market. We've been browsing a lot for finding a perfect methodology. Took us a while to understand concepts and that there is nothing kind of super valuable for Dynamics. So we had to create our own. And very often you will see some presentations of other softwares which are not covering that. The test automation software is just one piece. And even if it is good, it has to come with a combination of the knowledge. So you are able to fight with one version with that pace in a simplified manner, especially when Devops is also not ideal tool. It has a lot of advantages, but some disadvantages. But we found some nice shortcuts and some nice recommendations for you, which can build high repetitive executions and one place where stakeholders, and this is all about stakeholders, this testing, to make sure that they are informed that testing was done with specific results, so they can be secure, they can feel safe with the current system stability. So when you are executing the test cases, you can help yourself and invite stakeholders into the two places right now. You can build your own Power BI report based on our endpoints. And on the left side, you see the mini version of it. I'm going to open the full size in a moment. On the right side, you've got the standard Azure DevOps vision of test results on the progression, which builds for you health status of the system. Let's jump in quickly to our Azure DevOps testing methodology sample, which I've got in front of me. And here, if you're going to go to the test plans, progress report, you will see that you are able to see here the execution of our test plan from Executive Automats. I'm going to expand that, and I'm going to take this from the custom date as we've executed a few weeks ago, these test cases. We're going to see a little bit more results. So let's just see this. In here, When you go on with your smoke test, you will see that numbers are changing, that you have some percentages of passed and failed processes. You are able to go straight to the runs to find out in which area we have some fails. And Devops gives you a very nice place that these users can work with, and they're going to feel assurance. But you have to provide these results. So here we've executed some regression package. We have 95% of success. We've got those 2 error messages, so I can go to the test results and find out which process failed, create and receive PO. All right, so we can investigate that. I can work with the triage team, so test manager and testers and program manager, and actually business users as well, developers, to find out how to handle that. Thanks that this is a seamless integration between executive automats and Azure DevOps, you are able to benefit from this. And yeah, as mentioned, we will do more sessions about the whole methodology. But as you see, it's possible that you can invite the stakeholders here to the progress report, and then they can go to runs and find out what exactly happened. And then they can go actually inside. They can see the execution history, so they can be redirected to executive automats and see how process actually failed, what kind of problem there was. Actually, no data, which probably means that the problem was not so big as we think. So this might be something to end up quickly the triage. But you have a lot of information, and everything is at the glance available with significant information about the statuses. And if you're going to build up some comments, and if you're going to build up nice descriptions of the test cases, you'll be able to get also the documentation after the execution, which is for some industries important, as building proofs that you've done the tests on a specific day with following results, verifying values, verifying some important aspect of the process. This is the step-by-step instructions, as mentioned. And yeah, if you would like to see the sample on your own, we can send you over also this sample. At the bottom, we're going to see the summary, but this is automatic. If you think about that aspect, it is like you have to have your testing complete, full coverage, because you do test automation. On the other hand, you want to have documentation because of the every test case you have to maintain. They have to be possible for execution. Each execution going to build you a nice description for every process that can be used for onboarding, that can be used for proofs of testing on a date to build assurance that we've done enough testing for the current release. So this has a lot of information. Of course, in the test plans, you'll be able to see more the granulation results on the test plan. And the same thing can be done for both CE, FO, and the other applications, because every test case recorded on executive automats then can be transferred here. If you're going to move along to the next slide, we would like to show you a concept of using boards and backlogs in Azure DevOps to track the cost, because it is kind of also very hard to grasp how to deal with ADO and test automation, what to actually build, what kind of projects to track down the costs. That's an example. You can use it with every tool, with EA, with RSAD, with others. So let's go back to the ADO. In the backlogs, we have an example of structure, which starts from epics. So this indicates what kind of project type we've got. This is a Scrum. And this helps you track down the current process and findings. Epics are summarizing, in that case, all test cases which were done for FinOps, finance and operations, and all results for sanity check, which is so-called smoke test on the other hand. They are aggregated here, underneath the feature. Underneath the feature, you have also description of environment which is tested, a Power BI link where stakeholders can go for verification. On the epic level, you can set up more information regarding the people responsible, so race matrix, and having that helps you be proactive. Something happens, triage, you know who to go, where to ask, who will help you with verification of the results. Regarding the cost, if within the execution, we just realize we've got a problem with credit limit verification, and we're going to create that automatically out of our test automation, then we can create tasks underneath the bug. Developer and consultant, they can participate in the triage and find for you the hotfix. Every minute they're going to spend can be registered underneath the task. And finally, you'll be able to find out what is the actual value of our tests within a quarter and a year cycle. So it will be later on pretty easy to defend that we are doing a good job finding those bugs and finding instability of the system, preventing that to be deployed on the production. We've seen significantly big DevOps structure. An example like this, where the bugs were identified, and there was over 100 bugs within a quarter identified and fixed. So this is kind of important. Different testing types. You see here sanity check. Of course, regression can be also used. Regression is more expensive and so on. I will not focus on this, but it can be identified as another feature. And also security role-based model. I will not focus on that too much because this might be too out of the scope now. But if somebody will be interested in that, we can come back to that topic. The CE can have the same, can build up one epic for summarizing that. But if you test those two, it might be more than tempting to merge them and have one test epic plan for execution of all of the test cases to build up the trackability for whole vision, for whole scope of the tests. Yeah, that's in a shortcut. There is much more to talk about. And as you may see, we are hosting a lot of webinars and sessions on sites on the summits. If needed, we can also do sessions with you aside of this mainstream what we do, just to consult and maybe give you some recommendations how you can fix your tests, how you can approach the test, the overall test automation to make sure that you can survive the one version pace. Yeah, so I think that's all for today. I think this is the last slide from my side.
Yeah, that's correct.
Thank you so much, and look forward for the questions if there will be any.
Yeah, guys, maybe I'll check what questions we have. Don't hesitate to address it right away if you have something in back of your head right now. I see that we have a few of them already. Maybe I would just show a first one. Can you use the same approach in manual testing using Devops and sync it with these reports?
Yeah, true. That's possible. The only thing is that there is something called configuration in DevOps, so you can send your test cases result from automation with a label called automation, and the other ones can be sent through with a label manual. And then when you see results, you just highlight those two ticks, two checkboxes, and it's all gonna be merged on one progress report in DevOps. So you'll be able to combine that. And then in the same way, if the iterations of manual and automation are the same, you'll be able to have it all in one place.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And we have a question from Martin. Could you show the Power BI example? I think
Sure.
it's doable.
Yeah, let's open it up. You can switch the screen, Raf.
Mm-hmm.
So Here, this is just a sample which shows the concept. We also see that based on the endpoints, you can do much more, but we wanted to give you a feeling what you can expect from it. And on this side, you have this health status, we say. Some number of successes and errors on the each test, which means that each of these lines, they are full smoke test execution. We have 59 test cases succeeded for error messages. And this goes down here, 47 test cases, 50, 52, 49. If you're going to see something like that, probably this comes from and the environment issues. They might be down, so we have to retest. We have to reschedule or open up the environment and then rerun. Considering actually running the environment, you can make it automatic. You can make an HTTP link to the your finance and operations environment or CE environment, and when system will see that something, it can automatically run an environment to deliver your results, even though it was offline ago, a few minutes ago. So here you can pick up the job guide, which is available, or scheduler job ID, which just means the latest execution. These were quite small. 784. This one has also 46, 43 successes, and there are some error messages on a specific ID, so we can jump into the executive automats to find out what is going on. If you have an endpoint from another application, the Power BI is flexible, so you can merge executive automats endpoint and another application endpoint and have more results in the one place. That's all about nice things that Microsoft is lately providing regarding configuration of Power BI, that you can use it for combining multiple sort of knowledge in one place. I don't know if that's that's actually from the sample pretty much everything that we can show you today. But if you you would like to see more, or you would like to see some, or if you would like to build your own report, if that's needed, we can ask some consultants of ours which are building Power BI reports, and we can build for you custom report based on the needs.
Exactly. So this part of the service is also a possible thing which we can deliver to you guys. So feel free to contact us considering this topic. Thank you, Bart, for answering the question. I see that we have 2 more questions. I will show it right now on the screen. Do you have any recommendation for testing ROI-based security model with one version update?
I think there should be role-based security model. Have a recommendation for testing? Yeah, I think Raptor, there is an E. I hope somebody who asked the question can actually correct us if we are wrong. But for role-based security model in one version, that's a tricky thing because indeed, one version introduces to you changes or new features and UI changes, UX changes. But on the other hand, the security model is also changing within the one version. What does it mean? It means that your standard roles, if you use them, they can fluctuate and they can actually become more expensive over time. And I had a very nice conversation with one of the MVPs from Europe. I don't recall the name, or actually I know, but I'm thinking that he might not want to share his thoughts personally. But we had a very nice conversation that a system user role was understood by the system as basic finance, just because of the accident that Microsoft did, and they elevated everybody's license on one of the latest version of FNO, on the one version, to the basic finance, which was of course a mistake. And our colleague MVP just made the notice to Microsoft to correct that mistake, because it was kind of a problem. All licenses, you might need to pay practically a few times more for licenses of NO. So there is a recommendation to do the tests on 2 steps. First, you should run a report verifying your alignment with how many licenses you bought for your Dynamics, and how much after the one version you have actually licensed for. I mean, how many licenses you need for your Dynamics. This alignment will give you a feeling if something changed. Secondly, what else you can do if there are new entry points or elements introduced, you are able to test with automation one process against multiple accounts. So this gives you even more feeling if your current setup of the roles will be not distracted by the one version, because one version, as mentioned, they are introducing changes to the security, which means that your roles are fluctuating, and as a result, you can have SOD issues, or you can have issues with the user interface in the simple way. That's kind of a very advanced topic. Thank you for the question. I hope we've answered that
I
correctly.
also see, Bart, that there was a mistake in the question, because I see, sorry, my mistake, Roll, not Roy. Well,
Yeah.
when you're having, in mind all the costs, especially nowadays when everyone is counting the money, every single dollar, every single, maybe Roy and Roll may be something confusing. So thank
That's
you
true.
for
That's true.
clarifying that. I see that we have a last question, I think. I will share it right now on the. What project type in Devops gives you possibility to use Epic feature requirements?
Yeah, that's Scrum one. That's kind of a thing you have to go with. Um, yeah, that's the Scrum one. I can double check if the name is correct, but I think this is a so-called Scrum.
Maybe I will share the screen of yours, but if it's not.
You don't need to. I
Okay,
can
cool.
just verify that in just a moment, but I think that's simply Scrum. Just trying to open DevOps once again. Agile, sorry. This is so-called Agile, which simply refers to Scrum, or kind of a
Okay.
Scrum.
And okay, guys, so it seems like that we don't have more questions. So, well, remember about the links which we have shared during this webinar. First link is to the Summit NA, which you can visit us in person. Upcoming in 3 months, 3 months. This will be on October,
For
as I remember. 4
October,
months,
yes.
yeah, October. So if you will have ability to visit us and meet us in person, it will be much appreciated from our side, and we will be able to speak with you considering your topics and questions and doubts concerning the test automation purposes of our tool in your organization. And also, I think it can be a very inspiring session, which will give you a better overview of the whole situation and why the testing and test automation is a need and a must nowadays, especially to be in line with proactive quality updates and one version approach. And second link, demo session and POC. Guys, feel free to book yourself a demo session and POC with us. So, Bart, thank you for the today's show. I will maybe just click and give you the overview of our contacts. Feel free to address any questions to me and my colleague from the team. If something will have with something which you have been having here and you haven't been answered with, go ahead, click and on the emails, which we or know the emails and contact us directly. We will be happy to help you to solve your any issues considering the testing. Okay, guys. So thank you very much. Thank you, Bart, for today's session. Thank you, guys, for being with us till the end. And we see you around in the next session.
Cheers.
Cheers. Bye.